Good morning, Marcia. I
Hi,
understand
Gary.
I understand you are compared to where we left off last time at a 75% improvement overall. You are still there, having had
Hmm.
a good day or two and having a not so good day a couple of days ago and so, but averaging there.
Right,
You
right,
also said to me, and this is just kind of an overview. I didn't realize this when we first started that you had, and these things are adrenal related, but something like 20 different
right,
symptoms. They would come and
right,
go and this and that. But you're noticing overall that there's
right.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you verify this, that there
Yeah.
is a substantial increase in your energy, and most of these symptoms have basically faded. How'd I do? Did I say it right?
Right. Yeah. A lot of the symptoms are gone, and what there is it's not just my energy, it's a basic feeling of health too,
Mm-hmm.
of kind of health and well-being,
Yeah.
because the energy does really go ricochet up and down, but through it runs this feeling that there's just more stabilization.
Okay. I'm making little notes here.
Sure.
Okay. So just let me point out to those listening in um,
Right.
that I wasn't even aware there were 20 symptoms. I mean, I knew about the eye blurriness and a thing or two, but basically I
Right.
didn't know about them. Um,
Right.
and we didn't address any of them directly.
Right.
I didn't even know about them. Okay, so
Right.
we didn't
Right. Exactly.
address them directly. We addressed emotional underpinnings,
Right.
and at least in the theory I'm going under, we're really going to the ultimate cause, emotional causes underlying, in a sense, many or all of our physical ailments. We don't need them; they're emotionally caused, or at least that's our approach.
Right.
And so we've aimed at the emotional stuff, and the physical is starting to subside. The adrenals are much better,
Right.
and so on. Okay.
Right.
Well,
Right.
was that just
No, that's
wisdom,
yeah.
or you had anything to
No,
add to it, or what?
very, very true. We've definitely worked with all the emotional, many emotional issues, and you and I have, and then in between time, I have worked when as things have come up. And so I just, that's what I feel like is going on.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and of course it leads to one of the problems, which is as I feel better, I do more and I overdo it. And my adrenals are not ready for the overdoing. So,
And we don't know why about that. I mean, part of it could just be simply due to your age, and the body just doesn't work like it used to. I mean
sure.
that's a possibility. It could be that the adrenals need more work and more. We don't know. We don't know.
Right.
All we know is we're aiming at the emotional stuff, and the physical stuff is starting
Right.
to get better. And there
Right.
we are. Okay, now,
Right. Right.
now, um, along with this overdoing it thing, we had this other discussion. I think it's worthwhile bringing this up because I think maybe we want to do something about that in this session. And that is,
Right.
I'm going to paraphrase this. You would overdo it. You'd go for a longer walk or a hike or do something
Exactly.
without taking a nap or whatever the case may be. Okay,
Right.
so you do that, and you have a little down. You pay for it. All right.
Right.
Now that's a very human thing to do. I would do that because you always want to test our limits. We're feeling better, test our limits, et cetera, et cetera. However,
Right.
that triggered something in you. And that's what you brought up to me, and I want you to discuss it a little bit.
Right.
But it was basically, what? Oh, I must struggle, for this healing to occur, and
Right.
I must do it right.
Yes. Right.
Amen.
And just for everybody's edification here, I have to tell you that how I discovered it is interesting because I felt pretty good. I overdid it for a couple of days. And as I was feeling bad, I watched what my attitude toward myself was, sort of like, okay. And I just felt really irritated. I was just irritated with myself that I had overdone it when I know better. And so then I was like, well, where's that irritation coming from? And that's when I started really asking more deeply, what do I really believe about this healing process? And I discovered that while I definitely do believe that God, the universe, is helping me heal and that I am accepting of that, at the same time, I also believe that if I don't do it right and if I don't struggle with it, it won't work. And I also believe that built into this is that is my own sort of self-sabotage, that it is going to take a while. I'm not sure that if I couldn't get rid of that it would take a while. Maybe it would be gone in a day or, something like that. I think that I've built in a belief that it's going to take a while. I don't really care how long it takes, but,
well, okay, so there's a belief in the struggle. There's a belief in we need to do it right,
right.
And all of that. And that's, and I understand, and that's even part of our cultural conditioning in a way. Do it right,
Sure.
and by the numbers or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
and no pain, no gain, and I mean those
Right.
kinds of things. All right, but let me
Right.
let me ask you, and this is kind of philosophy that I want to build into some of this.
Right.
If you are slicing vegetables for dinner, and you cut your finger,
Right.
do you get all worked up about how long it's going to take for that to heal? And I mean, you put a Band-Aid on, you do what you need to do, but do you get worked up about that? You got to do something right, etc., or do you just leave it be and it heals?
Nope, but it's just fine. Nope, I don't even get upset. I mean, I cook and use sharp knives a lot, and so it's just like, no, that's fine. It's just
Okay,
like that's what I've got Band-Aids in my kitchen drawer
okay.
for
So
that reason.
we're being philosophical here for a moment,
Right.
but what you're doing in this case is you're basically saying, well, okay, well, body just heal, God heal, whatever you want to do. I
Right.
mean, it's going to heal. You don't
Right.
expect your finger to fall off,
Right. Right.
or something like that. It's going to heal, and you just leave it be. Okay.
Right.
So some other ailment, of course, like adrenal fatigue or something or other, you put that in a different category.
Hugely.
Okay.
It
All
is
right.
not allowing me to live life,
Okay.
and it's impeding my living,
Okay.
and so it's annoying.
Yes. And when we add on top of that, I must do this right. I have to struggle to get this done. That is adding emotional cause on top of the existing emotional cause.
Big time.
Okay. And at least in our philosophy and in our approach, it's getting in the way, if not counteracting it.
Right.
It's pushing back against it, so to speak. It's
Right.
more resistance. So,
Absolutely.
okay. So, on a scale, yeah,
Yeah.
here, I'm going to ask you to tune into this need to struggle.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to tune into this and tell me on a scale of 0 to 10, emotionally, how intense is that?
It's at a 4.
Okay, we had some kind of discussion here off, off the recording,
Mm-hmm.
where there's some areas where you need to be right that are more important than other areas you don't care whether you're right or not.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, if you thought the color of somebody's shoes you saw last week was blue and in fact they were brown, and you were wrong, you wouldn't get worked up about that. Okay.
Nope. No,
Okay.
no.
That would be a zero. But some of the other things would be more than a zero. It would be 8 or 10, or
Right,
depending on the intensity of them, you know. So is
right.
that four really about this struggle thing, or is it an overall thing?
Um, it feels very much like it has to do with this something that is important to me. I mean, and this adrenal thing in my life right now is just way at the top of the list. So it's probably, in descending order, it'd be adrenal fatigue and whether my daughter cares about me or, those sorts of things are probably, but I don't know that there's a lot of other things that I care about at this point. This is interfering with my life. I can't live.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, I can, but I'm
yeah.
telling myself a story about not being able to
Okay.
live.
But logically, the struggle isn't helping any.
Oh no, it's definitely not helping.
Now,
It's
it's one thing to have concern about it and pay attention to it and do
right,
things like we're doing.
right,
It's
right,
a, it's another thing to be over the top of, oh my God, I'm not doing it right, and beat yourself up or whatever the case may be. That's a
right, right.
that's a different thing. Okay, so let's let's work on that,
Okay,
and we will do it with one of these metaphors. So,
okay.
you want to make one up, or you want me to try one?
I think I want you to try one to
Okay,
start with.
all
Yeah,
right,
because I'm just yeah.
okay. Well, I'm going to be you, and
Okay,
I like just about everybody listening in has some degree of this. I mean, we've got to be right about something, and something's got to be a struggle. I mean, there's some piece of that most people buy into,
right,
as,
right,
as part of their cultural conditioning or beliefs or whatever. So I'm going to be
right.
you. I'm going to have this thing about I got to be right, and I've got to struggle. No pain, no gain. I played a lot of football. There's no pain, no gain in that as well. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So
Something just inserted itself here I need to say because maybe it's important. And that is I think it's because it's in my own body. It's really that's a big deal.
mhm.
It feels like somehow it's something that is ultimately under my control. And that's very different than anything out there, so to speak.
Well, in a way, it is under your control.
Right.
By contrast, and this is my philosophy, um, um, you have more control over it than you might think.
Right.
You have more control over it than the medical profession might have, who has pills and whatever is stuff,
Totally.
um, and so on. So ultimately, yes, but that control, interestingly enough, isn't you saying, "Oh, heal my thumb or my adrenals.
Right.
I hereby direct and demand." No.
Right. Right. Right.
It's more the control. More is opening the door and letting healing really come in. Just like when you cut your
Exactly.
finger and you let it be.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You
Exactly.
try. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Good.
so anyway
Okay.
anyway so I want to I want to get to this place where I'm you and I'm got this emotion feeling and I'm going to bring in source.
Hmm.
And I'm going to let it say to me whatever it's going to say and do whatever it's going to do. But the idea of it is to say, well, who needs this kind of thing, and
Right.
fade it. Not that we're going to let go of any concern about it. No, no, it's different. We're talking about doing something with the over the top, unnecessary, getting in the way piece
Right.
of it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
So you want to do that one?
So, so we're asking for guidance in a sense, right? You're just sort of being open to source
Well,
and saying,
yeah,
what do I do with this?
well, yeah. To me, it's not so much guidance. Yes, yes, it's always in there someplace. So if you get
Okay.
some guiding message, great.
Okay.
But to me, it's more like let spirit come on in here, let source come on in here, and handle this emotion, resolve it in the best way possible for
Oh, okay.
me. Okay.
Okay.
And if there's a message in there, great, that's good too. Okay, I mean, whatever else
Okay.
shows up. Okay, but it's more,
Right.
I've got this thing I don't need, source, come in and do your thing. Okay, but see,
Okay.
the magic here is we have to really be able to open this door and let it in. If we just got the door
Right.
open just a little bit and say, well, just poke your nose in. Okay, well, that's all
Right.
we're going to get is a nose poke in. Okay,
Right.
so
Right. Right. Exactly.
okay,
Okay.
so let us close the eyes and do whatever we can do with that. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Good. All right. Okay. That's interesting.
Well, before you do anything else, why don't you do your little test and see if you're still a four?
Okay. It's about 2.5. I can't quite get it to 2, but but it felt like it didn't want to quite be 3 either.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Right.
what happened?
Well, the very interesting thing that happened when you talk about struggle is as soon as I close my eyes, I don't know what they're doing outside, but big noise, big like lawnmower noise right under my window. And it was going on the whole time. So I was in a struggle right then with the whole concept of the visual, of the visual we're doing. So I'm struggling to get rid of the noise to make that be nothing, and not waste my time because I've got to do this visual. And I finally was able to, somewhat let go of that, to just say, hey, it's there, it's going to be there, and just forget it. And then what I actually got a lot of words in a sense. I was attempting to, open my heart and my chakra system to the energy. And I did feel like there was energy coming in. And the words were really that the struggle is not just that you're struggling. Underneath that is a great amount of fear. And the fear is of letting go. The fear is of moving into this new reality where I am putting myself completely at the will. I don't know what you'd call it, at the mercy of this new reality. And so it was very compassionate. It was very much a feeling of, that's okay. It's okay that you're there. And just,
Yeah,
I'm here for you, kind of
yeah,
thing.
and it is okay. I mean,
Right.
we're in this circumstance. Everybody, myself included, has difficulty letting go. That's why I'm spending so much time. I spend a lot of time, the whole purpose of which is letting go. Okay,
Right.
okay,
Right. Right.
and yet I'm still here. However, I'm higher up the ladder now than I was a while back. So,
Exactly.
but
Right. Yeah. Good. Congratulations.
well, yeah, thank you. Okay, but I look up there, and there's a whole lot more, and it's an exquisite thing up there. Okay,
Yeah.
but now,
Right.
now, now, what's interesting about that you didn't use the word, but I'm going to use it here, and that is surrendering to the
Right.
greater reality,
Right.
which means letting go of this and going there. Okay,
Exactly.
and rarely does anybody ever do that. I mean, supposedly Buddha did that. Supposedly Jesus did that. Supposedly some other spiritual masters did that. But
Right.
what is that as a percentage of the population? I mean, it's
Right. Right. Minuscule.
yeah, minuscule. So the rest of us are struggling, if you will, with this issue. But let's think about that for a second. See, um, in this experience here in the body, we
Right.
are imprisoned. We are actually imprisoned in many ways. We are completely dependent upon air, water, food. In our culture, we are dependent upon electricity. We are dependent upon the weather. We are dependent upon what our computers do or don't do, and if our cars work or not, and on and on and on it goes. We are completely dependent on all of these things. Okay.
Right. Right.
In the other reality, we are free of all of it, dependent only upon
Right.
source. And
Right.
and academically, would you not trade that?
Right. Of course.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
that's where we are. So we consider ourselves that this is freedom, that is imprisonment. We've turned that around. Like, God, if I let go of this, I'm
Right.
going to be there, and
Right.
that's a fearful thing. And actually, it's to us
Right.
it's sort of the unknown.
Right.
But anyway, that's just a little philosophy in there.
Well, what
Um,
I try to tell myself is that it actually doesn't change a lot in my life. I'm a person who makes most of my decisions ultimately from getting in touch with my intuition, which is source.
uh-huh.
But to make the commitment to not, in a sense, not be influenced by the old story, to say that door is shut to me is like, whoa, wait a minute,
Yeah,
we're not going to go there.
yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Right, exactly.
So,
So, right,
so that's the issue that we deal with. Okay.
right,
So what we try to do is climb the ladder, and
right,
eventually we get high enough up on the ladder, if we keep
right,
climbing it, that we start to see the ultimate top rung is much more attractive than the lower rungs we have been gradually leaving behind.
right,
Okay.
right, exactly.
And
Right.
so if we get, I don't know, I make this up. If the ladder has 100 rungs on it and we're on rung 83, who needs the next 17 rungs? You just leap up there and off you go.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I'm
Okay, we're
convinced
good.
already. I'm convinced.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Close enough for government work, as they say.
So okay, so I have no illusion that optimal EFT with a round or two of visualization is going to just wipe that one out. That's the kind of thing we chip away at
Right.
and climb the ladder on. But for the moment, well, first, I never asked you, how's your eye blurriness today?
Um, I checked earlier because one thing I did realize is a lot of my eye blurriness also is influenced by the fact that I'm looking at a computer screen and I'm getting a glare because of the light. So I checked before we started to take that out, and I'm at a 2 today.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
All right. Okay. All right. So anyway. Oh, one other thing I want to back up in. When I was doing this last visualization,
Right,
while you had what came up for you was the fear of letting go,
right.
the message I got was anger.
Oh, interesting.
There's there's
Oh,
there's some form of anger, some form of resentment, and that's not unusual. We've
right, right,
you know, there are there are lots of things and people we just as soon kick off our planet, you know.
right.
So,
Well, it's
but
interesting you say that because I mean, are you saying that there? I mean, that came. You were doing this as me,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So when you say that, I immediately think to myself, the the part of struggle and being right really can go back to my mother, and she was often angry when I wasn't right. So it certainly is something that I probably need to look at.
okay. Thank you for that. That just intuitively that just sort of moves me in a little bit different direction.
Okay.
And I want to give you a little paraphrase, if I can, from A Course in Miracles. Um, and one of the things it says there, and I don't have the words exact, but I'm pretty close. It says the only reason we have any physical ailments is because somewhere within us is a lack of forgiveness.
Okay.
You could call that anger if you wanted to, or whatever, but
Right.
lack of forgiveness. And it goes on to say that if you can identify the lack of forgiveness and the physical ailment are so connected that if you can identify the lack of forgiveness and forgive it, the
Mm-hmm.
physical ailment doesn't have a chance. It just disappears for lack of
Does,
cause.
does,
For lack of
yeah.
cause. Okay.
Right. Right.
Now,
Right.
now, I want to pick up on that for now because we talked about your mother before and we've done some specific events and this kind of
Right.
thing, and so those things are good. But it still comes up, and I'm not convinced with a specific event or two we just wiped all that out.
Right.
So, um, I'm going to adopt the idea, and you correct this, please, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to adopt the idea that you're having difficulty forgiving your mother. And the idea here is if you can truly forgive your mother,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then you're much better. You are likely to be forgiving yourself because the two of you are one,
Right.
just like you
Makes
and I are one, okay?
right.
So the work is to actually forgive her. Don't blame her for this and blame her for that, and don't withhold. Well, okay, I forgive all these things, but this other one here, I'm not so sure. I got to hold on to that one.
Right. Right.
No, it's really to see her as nothing but just spirit and light, just as you would like to be seen as.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
See her as that and that only. All of her behaviors came about because of her own conditioning, her own background, her own beliefs, etc.,
Right.
and all of that. And she needs to be forgiven for that, just like you need to be forgiven for your stuff, because it doesn't matter in the long run anyway. As somebody told me a long time
Right.
ago, whatever it was that's bothering you, Gary, 100 years from now, no one will know the
Right.
difference. And if they did,
Right.
they wouldn't care.
Yeah. And they're not going to care. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Right.
but anyway, so the visualization here is going to
Right.
be,
And I want to make one comment
yeah,
because there is a catch-22 in here, and I think this is what I see as why this is hard to heal, is because the resistance in me to surrendering knows that if I forgive my mother, there won't be anything in the way. So it isn't, how can I put it? It's like there's a a rat's nest here, a spider web of it isn't just, oh, forgive your mother and then it'll be gone. It's like, yeah, but I want to hang on to the resistance and the fear because then I won't have any reason to not surrender. So
Yes.
it's almost like it's a sham thing that it's the anger at mom. It's the anger at mom because that's what the piece of me that doesn't want to surrender wants to hang on to.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to say that a little differently, okay?
Okay, perfect.
This is important philosophy for those listening into, as far as I'm concerned. It's important philosophy,
Great.
okay? Whether it's a parent or not, to you and me,
Right.
those to whom we are irritated with, angry with, whatever, who have done us in for all these reasons that we can list forever, is
Right.
actually a projection of our own. It is our own unrest which we are not in touch with, our own
Right.
guilt and whatever that we're not in touch with, that we are projecting out there because we don't want to deal with it.
Right.
And we're projecting out on mother in this case, okay, your
Right.
mother in
Right.
this case. So we project it out there, and oh, yeah, yeah. But see, if we let all that go, that
Right.
means we can't project anymore, and we got to own it
Right.
ourselves. Whoa!
Right.
We don't want to do that.
Right.
But if we can do what we're talking about here and do it cleanly, so that we see her and thus ourselves
Right.
as nothing but purity,
Right.
then we've done something.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay. Good. Yeah, that's a good clarification because
Okay.
it yeah makes it a spiritual thing, right,
So,
and not just an emotional thing,
so
right?
what I'm going to, the metaphor I'm going to suggest is that I'm going to go inside, I'm going to be you, and I'm going to see mother out there. And
Okay.
I'm going to see her in some irritating fashion. She's
Okay.
saying stuff or gesturing or whatever she's doing, but she's doing stuff. But I'm recognizing, I'm going to sort of build like a projection bridge or something like that, or a tunnel or something like that.
Right.
I'm going to see her as my projection.
Right.
She is my projection.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I can sit here and list all these terrible things, she is
Right.
my projection. These are my issues, and they're fictions. See her as nothing but light. Let the light come back in, light come back and forth, or however it seems to want to fit there. But the idea is we want to get to the idea that it is a fictitious projection, and there's really nothing but light there.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now,
Okay.
I'm under no illusion that this one thing will just vanish forever. I
Right.
am of the persuasion that it will help.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, are we essentially do we need to retest, or is it the same thing that we tested for
I don't even
before?
know, and for the moment, I don't even care.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay?
Right.
We can
Okay.
also get, yeah, I'd love to test everything else, but I'm really more interested in getting to this core
Yeah.
thing. So,
Yeah. No, that's fine.
okay. So let's take that metaphor, do with it as you want to do with it,
Right.
and we'll do our thing and see you later. Okay?
Okay. Right. Okay.
So what happened?
Okay. So I saw I began to have the memories of the things where I saw my mother, and she needed to be right in this and she was getting angry and etc. And then suddenly it was like I was watching a movie. So the projection was projected onto a movie screen. And there are a lot of words in this one too. The words need to be right. I was like judging her need to be right, but suddenly there was like this echo chamber, and the word need to be right started coming back at me, and it was my need to be right in all of this. That was what was really making me angry, is that I needed to be right. I needed to be right. And that it then sort of began to turn into like, I can't let go of that because that's like being right is a feature of my personality. And that's when, like, the voice, so to speak, the spirit was, it's absolutely not a feature of your personality. It has nothing to do with you. You don't need to be right ever. There's nothing about it that is representative of you. You are simply a beautiful reflection of God's creation, and there's no need to be right in that. So just relax and let it go. And it was like my mother was then now sitting next to me, and we were together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
essentially what happened.
Um, do you think it chipped away at it or resolved something or?
Yeah, often if something happens in a visualization that feels like it has, I do a kind of a sighing. There's like a kind of a
Uh-huh.
and that happened near the end of that visualization.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
I do have a sense of a shift.
All right. I was doing a similar thing, but it ended up. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Maybe I do know why, but I started off with your mother
Right,
and seeing, she's blaming and all this kind of stuff, And I started to do the metaphor as you and I talked about it. But
right,
what happened was, well, I did that with your mother. It also morphed into, one of my own issues where I'm projecting blame on somebody else.
right,
Okay. Um, and so I had to sit there and deal with that myself. Okay.
right, right.
And
Good.
I don't think that detracted from what we're doing because we're all one.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And so I did all of that. And the whole idea was could see nothing but light there. That means nothing but light with me. And we walk off into the sunset. Now, as I sit here now, am I still perturbed? Yes. Okay.
Right,
Uh,
right,
did it take care of the whole thing forever and ever?
right,
No.
right,
If I did this with some consistency and frequency,
right,
would I really start chipping away at this thing so I would gradually be climbing this ladder? And would it be important to do?
right,
Yes.
right. Good.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's for
It's
those listening in, but that's for you as well, because part of your homework for this next time is going to be just exactly that. Chip away
right.
at it. The more you chip, you know, it's like chipping away at a sculpture. A beautiful sculpture is in there someplace. You just got to remove the little impediments that are masking it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And this is something that it works very unconsciously in my life from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And I have worked on something else that's just a symptom that I know is much better now, that is very unconscious. And that's this tendency to clench my jaw and kind of click my teeth together if I'm really anxious about something or just when I'm busy. And I've worked on that, and that has definitely improved. And I know that's unconscious. So this will be very interesting to see what happens, because I'm not often unconscious. I'm often unconscious that I have this attitude
Mm-hmm.
and this overdoing it thing that's going on. So, yeah, I'm pretty interested in this one. I think this is going to
Okay.
go somewhere.
All right.
So,
Now, what I'd like to do is just start aiming this directly at the symptom, that is, at the adrenals.
okay.
And just the metaphor is going to be very simple. Just to close the eyes, imagine the metaphors in some disease state. I mean, I tend to make organs like maybe a bright red color and maybe throbbing or whatever means
Right.
out of order, okay, or even an out
Right.
of order sign on them or something. I don't
Right.
know. And then just bring in source
Okay.
to bathe it in love and light. And by the way, it may not be the adrenals themselves that are really the problem. It may be something connected to the adrenals that cause the adrenals to be. So
Mm-hmm.
we may not know that.
Right.
Source would. So we're
Right.
just going to let it do its thing. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So let's just do something on that. So all
Okay.
right. See you in a bit.
Sounds good. Okay. So you want to know what it was, what it looked like?
No, you as one of our veterans, you need to do this. As one of our veterans that I dealt with 20 years ago said after we fixed his height phobia problem.
Right.
He was looking down over a third story balcony of no problem. He says, "I'm healed. Thank you, Jesus. I'm healed."
Good for him. Well, but okay. Yeah, well, I wish I could say that, but I don't know yet. So, yeah, what after opening, it's important for me to just really open. So I was opening to source. And the idea that I thank you for that idea that there are other things that could be actually the source of this that we don't know for sure. So what happened is there is like a seed of light and love that source put into each adrenal with the idea that it would heal from the adrenals out. So it would heal symptoms that come from the adrenals, but also would heal any other issues that might be actually primary to this. So it's something that's like like I said, a seed that's going to grow in there and send light and love into the whole system that's off.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that was pretty much it.
Can you test your eyes now?
Okay, let me turn away from the light here. Oh, I know a good way to test my eyes. Let me reach for a book. Because when I can read without my glasses, that's a pretty good one. I would say they're still at about what they were earlier, and that's about a 2.
Yeah,
They
okay. All
haven't
right.
changed a lot,
All right.
right?
All right.
Okay,
I'm also, earlier on in our earlier sessions, you said there were many times when you could feel your adrenals.
right,
Can you
right.
feel them now?
No, I cannot. And that's one of the things that is true, that over the last few weeks, I haven't been able to feel them as much. Occasionally, it'll show up, but not in that same way that one or both really kind of ache. Um,
Okay.
it's not to that extent.
Okay, so we're gonna meet again. We'll make another time, but um, in the meantime, I would be curious. You might want to make a little note about this.
Right,
Um, if you do this human thing of overdoing it,
right.
do you still beat yourself up? Do you still have this struggle? Do you still, I've got to be right, I'm not doing it right, did I, shame on me or whatever? Are you doing that more, less, the same? Or, I mean, just that would give us some clue
Right,
as to how far we went with that.
right, exactly. Okay.
Okay. And then if you would do that projection process, I guess we might want to call it,
Yeah, I like that one.
you know,
Right,
um, do that once a day at least, and just let me know what happens.
okay, right,
I would
okay,
I would also be curious what happens, and this is up to you. Live your own life. But if you just recognize it so far, the areas you've gone to where you've exceeded your boundaries,
right,
okay, you overdid it.
right,
If you know where those boundaries are, just don't exceed them for this next several days, and see what happens.
right, right. I actually have written my down a little list of things that I tend to overdo and have just said, okay, let's limit this. So there's about 3 things on the list.
Okay.
And yeah, and the hiking is one of them. I love to do that. So
Well, yeah, but that hiking is one thing. Overdoing the hiking is another.
well, and that's really what's interesting. I'm really clear about that is I can go out for a walk and I might even be able to go for a hike, not a terribly long one, but it's what I bring to it. It's how fast I do it and how much I feel like I have to be at a higher pace to be doing it right. Otherwise it's not a hike. I mean, if you're just out there ambling along, it's not a hike.
Well, all right, but
So I'm just trying to amble along and enjoy it. That's what I like doing it for in the first place. Is
yeah, but
watching the birds and all
if
that
we
good
bring
stuff.
all this other stuff into it,
Right.
you know, the time
Right.
element. We got to hurry up and get it done. Got to get it done right. Got to get it. I got a bunch of other things to do, and I got to do this right and struggle and struggle. And besides that, I think I'm better than I really am, and I think I'm going to
Right.
push it.
Totally. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
And I'm still 22. I don't care what the calendar says.
Right. Right. And I have a younger neighbor that I go hiking with. And, so that's one of the things I just have to say to her, if you're out for a stroll, that's great. I need not to go so fast. And because even when I slow down, I'm still feel like I'm trying to keep up with her.
Tell you what might be an interesting exercise. In fact, I think I may try this myself when I go for a walk. Okay. Where I live, there's some nice forests around, and there's
Right. Me too.
beaches and all that kind of stuff. In the forest areas, you rarely see anybody. It's just
Right.
you and this trail and the trees. Okay.
Right.
Occasional bird or two and all of that.
Right.
All of those are living things.
Right.
And it would be nice if we could take the walk. And every time our eyes would light on any tree, any plant, any brush, any weed, any bird, any
right,
whatever, if we would just constantly stop a moment and just see the beauty underneath it,
right,
look
right,
for it. See, if we're not looking for it, we won't see it. Maybe you look for it and you won't see it the first time, maybe even the 12th time, but eventually you'll start to see it, you know. And that will start
right.
making the walk, I would think, more and more spiritual, more and more enjoyable, more and more along the lines of what we're doing.
Well, I hate to say this, but I actually already do that.
Oh,
So most of my, I'd say four out of 7 times I'm out walking by myself. And that is, I always do that.
oh,
I mean, I discovered a whole bunch of stuff out there that just because I pay attention, because I feel like I'm in the living universe
yeah.
when I'm doing that. And it's like, that's the part that I love.
I wonder when you're in that state and doing that,
Right.
how your adrenals are doing. Do you have any
Well,
way of this?
I'm pretty clear that when I walk like that, when that's what, and I'm not walking with someone else, that those hikes are fine. Those are not pushing me over the edge. It's the whole issue of, if you want to say going back to being right or making it a struggle, that I have to keep somebody else's pace or, whatever you want to call it. It's human beings throw me off.
Well, they throw us all off because we are projecting on every single one of them.
Exactly,
You
exactly,
know, I mean
exactly.
that's all our stuff out there, all our loving
Right,
stuff,
right,
and all our
right,
Hitler type stuff. It's all out
right.
there.
It's totally because my neighbor is a perfectly lovely person, and yet I'm saying to myself, she just she's in better shape and she wants to walk faster, and that's just who she is. And if I'm out here with her, that's what I need to do.
Okay.
That's that is a total projection.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, and
right,
do what you want to do, but a possibility,
right,
if it would work with her, is to say, hey, you like to go at a certain pace. I like this other pace.
right,
Slow down with me and let's look at some things differently and da 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 da.
right,
Now maybe
right,
she can do it, maybe she can't. I mean,
right,
we're
right,
conditioned certain ways, and we got our
right.
routine and all of that.
Right. No, I think if I actually, I might have to say it 2 or 3 times on the walk, but I think she'd do it because she gets other exercise. It's just walking with me is not. I think a lot of it is the companionship. So,
Well, what you might want to do, this is me, just as me talking. I don't know if it works socially or not.
right,
Is just say I'm working on my own health,
right,
and what I would really love to do is just go for this nice leisurely walk where we don't have the clock anywhere.
right,
Stop along the way, have these really nice conversations, talk about the birds and the leaves and the
right,
whatever it is, and the loving nature of our pets and children and
right, right,
all of that,
exactly.
and just do that. And who cares how long it takes?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
You
I'm
know.
really quite sure that would be fine with her.
Oh, okay.
Right, right.
Well,
Yeah,
might be therapeutic. Who knows?
yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay, let me
Good.
close this up. We'll get together another time. Just a second.
Okay.